everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of 5 Minute Fridays. I'm Miranda.
And I'm Dan.
That's true.
And according to Martin Steed, it's the afternoon, so Friday's almost over.
Oh, I like that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
Well, let's show what we're streaming with today first.
Okay, I like that.
Streaming to YouTube and Facebook.
We're using vMix Pro version 22.
Have a PTZ Optics USB camera and NDI camera.
And our X-Keys mouse mat, which is holding up admirably.
Yep. Using vMix Social, so make sure you guys drop us some comments.
And of course, every week,
The X-Keys XKE124 T-Bar with the video switcher key set.
running the whole show.
Yep.
Well, actually, you're running the whole show, but
Well, this is my handy assistant.
You know, when we started this, we used to get nervous and spend all kinds of time preparing and making sure everything was perfect before we started. And
Yep.
we've been doing this for over a year now. And now it's just like, okay, I guess
5 minutes too. We should probably get over there, maybe.
and figure out what we're doing. So, what are we doing?
So we are talking about something that you have made, programmed.
One of my very favorite X-Keys.
Yes.
It is an XK60 that I designed and tweaked out for running Google Sketchup. If you guys aren't familiar with Sketchup, it's a 3D modeling program. It used to be free, not free anymore, but it's a very powerful 3D modeling program, and I use it all the time. In fact, I used it in actually designing some X-Keys before. And I spent a lot of time on this layout. I love it. If I get stuck like on another PC that I don't have my X-Keys and I have to use SketchUp, I can do it, but it takes all the fun out of it.
It does.
So let's take a look at this bad boy again.
Just this guy?
Yeah, the whole thing. So the way I have this laid out, we have up here, this will launch SketchUp. This isn't like my file stuff, so here's save. If you've ever worked in CAD, you know saving frequently is an important thing to do. I mean,
Just about any program you want at this day and age.
systems are a lot more stable than they used to be, but still. And save as, and then you're exporting and importing, and then I start with the views. So this goes to the last view I had. Again, if you've ever worked in CAD, you know that views are very important, and changing a perspective in 3D to figure out where a component is, what's happening with it is very important. So having things for viewing is very important in that. And we've got zooms up here, and then these are views that just let me run around the model, top, bottom, sides, back, everything. Over here, I've got some tools that I use for dimensioning and adding notes to things. Hiding and unhiding is also great if you're trying to look at something that's buried. You can hide the thing that's in front of it and work on it and then unhide it. And then these are...
Uh-oh.
These are...
Gotta love it that we're live, right?
Yeah, my laptop just timed out. I'll get it fired up here again. These are like basic tools that I use a lot of: line tools, rectangles, arcs, circles, offsets, scales. This follow me tool is interesting. The push and pull tool is very important in measuring things. And excuse me while I get this back online. I hope it hasn't puked our input. Or live input for SketchUp. I guess we'll find out pretty soon.
It looks good.
Okay. Yeah, let's go over there. So I set up a multi-view here.
There we go.
So you can see my board here and SketchUp, and let's see. Uh-oh, it looks like that feed has frozen. Let's see if you can refresh that input, Miranda. Well, you need to go to the actual SketchUp input, I think, to refresh it. It's buried down there someplace.
Buried somewhere. We have many
So we're bringing that in from this laptop using vMix NDI capture. And so when it shut down, it probably
Sorry, guys. Give
killed
me
off
just
that
1 second
NBI
here.
feed, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay, so we got our connection back.
Right here. Go. Change it up. Refresh, or how do you?
Yeah, hit change and select it again. The second one, the application.
There we
Okay. That. Yeah, look, my mouse is moving.
go.
Okay.
All right, just some quick
On the fly.
on the fly.
That was pretty good. Really, recovery wasn't too bad.
True.
So here's SketchUp, and right now I have this model of the booth that we're going to be using at IBC. So if I just zoom into this for a minute, we'll see this key up here, Zoom Extents, will pull me back out to show me the whole thing, whatever I'm working on. What else can I show you? Oh, one of my favorites. Oh, darn it. I bet I didn't. Well, let's see. Let's see if I program this or not. Because I have this, some of these shortcuts are like default shortcuts in SketchUp. So I'm just using the X keys to send the keystroke for that default shortcut. Like, for example, the selection tool is just a space bar. So I'm just sending that in. But then some other ones I've customized a little bit. Or like all these views, SketchUp doesn't have default shortcuts for these. So I programmed some really obscure combinations like Shift-Alt F12 or things like that I would never use for anything else and into these keys. And that's how we're triggering the tools and the views in SketchUp. So back to what I was about to say. This one right here is the paint bucket tool. But the way I programmed it is that if you hold it down, it becomes a sampling tool. So if I hold this down and click on this blue rug and release it, now I could quickly, if I wanted to, change these walls to blue. And then I don't really like that, so there's the handy undo key over here. But that lets me use one key for both the bucket and the eyedropper, so I can really quickly update textures or things that I want to change in my model. Some others. I've got a move and a move and copy thing down there. This one I don't think I've set this one up yet. This is called reverse faces. And as you're modeling and doing stuff in SketchUp, let me quickly just throw a rectangle on top of this table. And then I'm going to use the pull tool to pull it up here.
That's fun.
It is fun. You can do a lot of stuff playing with this. But as you're moving through and creating things, frequently you'll get surfaces that are turned inside out. And so you can right-click in here and select reverse faces to get it turned around. Or you select that guy. If I have this programmed, I don't. I've got to set this one up. I have it set so you can hit that button and it'll do the same thing.
Very cool.
Can't remember how I did it though, because now I can't find it in the SketchUp menu.
Maybe that was only with the free version.
In their keyboard shortcuts that you use to solve this stuff is under the Windows and Preferences and Shortcuts, and then you go through their menu of functions, find the one that you want, and then hit the key combination you want and hit Add. That's how they go in there. When you're all done, you can save a template and share a template. So
very cool. I can definitely see how if you're creating stuff or anything in SketchUp, how it would be very difficult without that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily difficult, but if you're used to it.
Especially the view things. I mean, if you've ever done any 3D modeling and you get into the detail of something, it's easy to get lost. And because you're modeling a 3-dimensional thing in a 2-dimensional space. So you don't have that third depth
that makes sense.
Option unless you're moving around a lot to see where you are. And then you get lost.
Yeah.
And so the zoom all to get back out and see where you are is an important one too.
Absolutely.
So,
very cool.
Neat stuff.
Yeah.
Should we close and
Yeah, let's
answer
close. We've got
questions
some
after?
comments.
Okay,
So,
sounds good.
all right. Stick around. All right. So last week there was triggers to do that, and this week there is not. So that's fun. But I didn't mute the audio this time.
All right. You can hear us, I assume. Meter's moving. You should be able to hear us.
Make a key to fix your clock. It's still broken.
We just like that time, Martin. Just 11:05 seems like a good time, so we like to stay on it. Let the second hand roll.
What's this one? I think you said it, but in Sketchup there's a list of keyboard shortcuts for people to simply look it up, right?
Yeah, there is. It's not always easy to find, but SketchUp is a very popular program, and so there's a bunch of information out there.
Awesome. Got a question. I work for a company that builds assembly lines for factories. Could X keys be used for this, or are they exclusively for broadcasting? And we only get so many characters on this thing. No, they're you can use it just about for anything. They're definitely not just exclusively for broadcasting. That's just what we're using it for now.
Ian says your website only shows media uses. If you look under the utilization section of our website, Ian, we've got X keys being used for everything.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it, there's probably a lot of media in there.
There is a lot of
multimedia
media
and stuff, because that is where we get and see a lot of it being used a lot. We don't see much of the industrial usage, but I know it's out there.
It's out there. We just don't have too many use cases to show that.
Right. Counting cars is one really good example of that. And this thing that I just showed you on SketchUp, this is actually what the X keys was originally designed for, was to be a helper tool for a CAD program. Mm-hmm. So you can see how easily you can bop around and grab the different tools you want or change views or whatever for that. So.
Yep. Let's see here. Mr. Rudy, be excused today, please. He's being chased by lions.
Yeah, we'll let Rudy off the hook for this one. He's almost always here.
Oops, where did it go? Right here. Oh, good. It did send. Stuart says hi.
Hi, Stuart. Did you see the one from Great Lake?
Getting there. It was somewhere.
Great Lakes PC Repair.
After you program an X key, will it keep that profile internal to the unit? Yes, if you're programming it in hardware mode.
That's a great question. Yeah, we have two ways of doing this. If you use our MacroWorks software, what we call software mode, it stores all the programming in a script file that lives on the computer.
Yep.
And it's there when you fire up the computer, or you could make a copy of it, take it to another computer and use it. Then in hardware mode, we are purely emulating a USB keyboard, and the keystrokes are being stored in the X keys onboard memory. Mm-hmm. And that one, it goes with the X keys. You plug it in any PC, it's going to think it's got a USB keyboard plugged into it, and that USB keyboard is just sending out those keys and combinations.
No.
Or you can mix them. You can have some of both.
I have some of both on all my X keys.
Yep.
I've used it to great effect in a few video games.
Mm-hmm.
And the foot pedals are super handy.
Yes, they are.
Well, I don't know about handy.
They're particularly footy, is what you're saying?
I suppose.
I used to have one under my desk with the multimedia key programmed onto it for like play, pause, and mute. And so I could be listening to my music, and if somebody came in, they wanted to talk to, if it was somebody I wanted to talk to, if it was some people, I'd just leave the music on. But like the boss,
yeah,
I could just reach out with my toe, tap the foot, and pause it.
Makes sense. How durable are X keys if I were to put it in an industrial environment? They're pretty durable.
It's they're really designed for office use, but they are fairly rugged. So if it was in a dusty or like an oily or environment like that, or someplace where it's going to get water splashed on it or chemical splashed on it, it's going to be like any other piece of electronics.
Yeah.
It's not going to last well. But we do have keyboard skins you can get to put over it to kind of protect from fluids and stuff like that. And then we have the switch interface, which, you can get some really rugged waterproof buttons and plug those into the switch interface so that the electronics is actually out, parked away from that nasty environment. And that works really well too.
Absolutely. And industrial foot pedal and pin switch are pretty good.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
Yep. We do have some things built for that. So.
Yep. And if you have more questions, you can always shoot us an email at sales@xkeys.com.
Yep.
Too.
Yep. Or if it's
Or
of
call.
a more technical nature, you can tech@xkeys.com.
Yep.
TECH also will get you to us.
Absolutely.
Those are great questions, Ian. Keep them coming.
Yeah. I'm looking for more fun comments that I missed.
All right. Now I'm curious, so I'm going to do a what do you call it? Check-in. So Great Lakes PC Repair. I just really wonder where you are. If you're watching right now, put your city in the comment.
There you go.
Let's just see where everybody is, or
Good
your
call.
county, or your village, or you can be as specific or non-specific as you wish.
Do you have one more comment here while people come in?
East Lansing, Michigan, from Great Lakes PC Repair. I know where that is.
Do you? I've never been there.
You try to avoid it. That's because
I do. It doesn't work very well.
So we got East Lansing, we got Williamston, and we got Corby, Northants, UK.
Nice.
Cool.
That's
Are we
always
getting
fun.
any Facebook comments?
Yeah. The front office.
The front office.
From Rail Driver.
Right. Okay.
See?
I want to make sure it was working.
Facebook.
Good deal.
Yeah, Hazlitt, the state of confusion.
Really, Dan? You're just over there in Hazlitt, huh?
Martin is not far from our deep.
Right?
Oh, here's one.
Our deep is that of KBS.
Yep.
Hello,
Providence.
Dennis. Welcome.
Providence, Rhode Island.
Don't think we've seen you on here before.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, once Martin mentions our deep is our UK distributor.
Yep.
Great guy.
Yeah, he is. There was one more question on here. Whoops.
Ian's from Tucson. Cool. I like
Nice.
Tucson.
Ooh, that's fun. Ian said down here too, if I can see some examples and it meets expectations, I can have manufacturers across US and Canada using X keys.
We would hate that. Why would you do that to us? I guess if we must, we
I
can make
suppose.
and sell more X keys. Yeah, Ian, I'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
Shoot us an email. They'll forward it to me, and be happy to help you figure out how you can use them and get you pointed to the best products for your application.
Absolutely.
And Miranda would be happy to design a custom set of keys for you if that's what you need.
It's true.
So
I'm pretty good at that.
really good at that.
Martin says, great guy to go along with the great guys and gals at PI Engineering.
Yes, he's talking about our deep.
Yeah.
Our deep is cool.
All right. Sounds good, Ian. He's emailing sales.
All right,
Perfect.
cool.
That was fun. Good idea with the check-in. I like it.
We should do that more often.
Yeah.
And well, before I forget, because I'm always forgetting this, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. We're trying to get up to the magic number of 1,000 viewers, which is what we need for YouTube to recognize us as being legitimate. And nobody wants to be illegitimate.
Just over halfway, I think. So tell your friends, tell everyone, come subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yep.
It says, any thought on more colors for the backlight LEDs?
We are playing with something in the R&D department. That's we call it Rgb LED.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a display, but it is like you could get every color out of it, since you just mix in those values.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen it yet. I've heard that there are some in the building, but they're just initially messing around with them.
So stay tuned, possibly.
Yeah.
Just want to see some outside of an indoor cushy environment.
Have I got a video for you?
I don't have it queued up. I can't show it.
Just last week, we drove over the one button with the boss's duck. And
it survived.
It survived. It did great. And it, triggered a little message coming out of our switch interface.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I didn't think it was going to survive. I really didn't. All right. Any other questions or comments, guys? It's afternoon, so that means we get to go home soon, right?
Is it beer 30, Steedy?
I think so.
You don't drink beer, though.
Oh, well. Oh, this was fun, guys. We always appreciate the comments and you guys tuning in and watching us. And
Yep. Next week.
Oh, yeah.
We believe.
We should.
We're waiting for someone to finish some web pages. Not you.
I was going to say,
you're
wait.
way on time. You're always ahead of the game on that. No, we're waiting for another vendor to finish some web pages, but we hope to be showing you a bunch of road cases that we've designed for X-Keys that will be available through our site. We're not going to try to sell and stock all of them. We're just going to send you through to my case builder, where you can order what you want. And if you don't like the case that we picked out, you can still have our foam design put in another case, like a Pelican or something with steel, something with latches on it.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
Yeah, whatever you fancy. They're pretty cool. So make sure you guys come in next week and tune in. Yeah, come to the office.
Come on in virtually come in.
But yeah, they're pretty cool.
Okay.
All right.
I don't see any more questions coming in. We've answered all questions anyone could possibly have. So
I think so.
Time for us to go prepare for lunch.
Yes.
All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.